The alarm bell rang through the Zephyrian monitoring station like a broken scream. Senior Operator Vextel looked up from his coffee with tired eyes. Another false signal from the deep space sensors. It happened 3 times a week now. Old equipment. Picking up cosmic dust and calling it a ship? What is it this time? Vextel asked his junior operator. The young Zephyrian was new to the job. His green scales still shined with youth and excitement. "Sir, we have a contact coming out of the Maelstrom Nebula," the junior operator said. His voice shook with worry. Vextel laughed. It was a short, bitter sound. "That's impossible. Nothing comes out of the Maelstrom alive. Check your equipment again." The Maelstrom Nebula was a death trap. Everyone knew this. It was a twisted mess of gas, radiation, and gravity wells that crushed ships like eggs. Even the mighty hegemony dreadnoughts would not dare enter its borders. The nebula had eaten thousands of ships over the centuries. It was the galaxy's graveyard. "Sir, I've checked 3 times. There's definitely something there," the junior operator said. His clawed fingers danced over the control panel. "It's moving slowly, very slowly. The signature is weak but steady." Vextel walked over to the main display screen. The image showed the edge of the Maelstrom Nebula. It looked like a wall of purple and black death stretching across space. At its border, a tiny dot moved forward. The computer tagged it as an unknown vessel. "Run a full scan," Vextel ordered. He had been doing this job for 20 years. He had seen smugglers, pirates, and lost cargo ships, but never anything from the Maelstrom. The scan results appeared on screen. The ship was small, maybe a light cruiser or heavy transport. Its hull showed damage. Energy readings were low. Life support was working but barely. To Vextel, it looked like a ship that had been through hell and somehow lived to tell about. Can you identify the ship type?" Vextel asked. The junior operator worked at his station for several minutes. "Sir, this is strange. The computer can't match the hull design to any known species. The technology readings are ... Odd how. Some parts look very old, almost primitive, but other parts don't match anything in our database. It's like someone took an ancient ship and added new technology to it." Vextel rubbed his scaled forehead. This was not how he wanted to spend his shift. "Can you pick up any communication signals?" "Yes, sir. Very weak. It's broadcasting on several frequencies. The signal is in broken Galactic Standard." Galactic Standard was the common language used for trade and diplomacy. Most species could speak it, even if they were not very good at it. The fact that this mystery ship was using it meant whoever was inside wanted to talk. "Put it through the speakers," Vextel said. Static filled the control room. Then a voice came through. It was clearly alien, but speaking words they could understand. "This is ... human vessel wanderer, seeking safe passage to nearest trade station. Our navigation systems are ... damaged, requesting assistance." Vextel's blood went cold. Human. The junior operator looked confused, but Vextel remembered the old stories. Humans had been a minor species on the outer rim. They were known for being stubborn and hard to kill. But that was 50 years ago, during the Great Silence. 50 years ago, human space had gone dark. All communication stopped. Trade ships that entered human territory never came back. The Galactic Council had sent investigation fleets. None returned. After 10 years of silence, most species decided that humans had either destroyed themselves in some war or been wiped out by disease or disaster. The galaxy had moved on. Humans became a footnote in history, a minor species that had burned bright for a short time and then vanished into the dark. But now there was a human ship coming out of the impossible Maelstrom Nebula, very much alive. "Sir, what are humans?" a junior operator asked. "A species that should be extinct," Vextel muttered. He reached for the communication panel. "Unknown vessel, this is Zephyrian Monitoring Station. Please identify yourself and state your purpose." The response came back weak and full of static. "This is Captain Maria Santos of the human ship Wanderer. We are explorers returning from a long mission." Our ship was damaged passing through the nebula. We need repairs and supplies. We also carry important messages for the Galactic Council. Vextal exchanged looks with his junior operator. The young Zephyrian clearly had no idea what this meant, but Vextal knew. This was big. This was the kind of discovery that could change careers, or end them. Captain Santos, please maintain your current course. Do not attempt to alter your heading. A patrol will be sent to escort you to the nearest facility. Understood, monitoring station. We will comply. Wanderer out. The communication ended. The control room fell silent except for the hum of equipment. Vextal stared at the screen showing the small human ship limping through space. Double quotes. Sir, should I contact Fleet Command? The junior operator asked. Vextal nodded slowly. Yes, but use the secure channel. Tell Fleet Commander Kessler we have a situation. A human ship has appeared from the Maelstrom Nebula. Request immediate patrol assistance. While his junior operator sent the message, Vextal pulled up the old files on humans. The information was dusty and incomplete. Humans were described as a carbon-based species. Average height, average strength, average intelligence. They were known for being adaptable and aggressive. Their technology was considered decent, but not impressive. According to the files, humans had controlled about 15 star systems before the Great Silence. They had a small trade network and a modest military. Nothing that should concern the great powers of the galaxy. They were space farmers and miners, not warriors or scientists. So how had one of their ships survived the Maelstrom? The nebula killed everything that entered it. Even unmanned probes were destroyed within hours. Yet somehow this human ship had passed through and lived. The response from Fleet Command came quickly. Fleet Commander Kessler himself appeared on the communication screen. He was an older Zephyrian with dark blue scales and cold eyes. Vextal, explain this situation, Kessler ordered. Sir, we have detected a human vessel emerging from the Maelstrom Nebula. The ship appears damaged but functional. The captain is requesting assistance and claims to carry messages for the Galactic Council. Kessler's eyes narrowed. Humans are extinct, operator. This is probably a hoax or a mistake. Sir, I've verified the communication. The language patterns match old human records. The ship design is unknown but has elements that could be human in origin. Kessler was quiet for a long moment. I will dispatch a patrol. 3 ships should be enough to handle 1 damaged vessel. If this really is a human ship, we need to capture it for study. The scientific value alone would be enormous. Yes, sir. What are my orders regarding the human ship? Keep them talking. Don't let them know we consider them extinct. We don't want to panic them into running. Guide them toward the patrol intercept point, and Vextal, keep this quiet for now. If word gets out that humans are back, it could cause problems. The screen went dark. Vextal understood. The return of humanity, even just 1 ship, could upset the balance of power in the galaxy. Every species would want to study them, trade with them, or control them. Better to handle it quietly. But as Vextal watched the small human ship moving slowly through space, he could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. The ship looked damaged, but it moved with purpose. The captain sounded tired, but not desperate. And there was something about the technology readings that bothered him. The humans might be returning. But Vextal wondered if the galaxy was ready for them. 3 Zephyrian patrol ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the human vessel. Commander Jexstar led the patrol in his cruiser Bright Talon. The other 2 ships, Stormwing and Quickstrike, took positions on either side of the formation. Target acquired, reported Lieutenant Corvin from the sensor station. The human ship is exactly where the monitoring station said it would be. Commander Jexstar studied the main view screen. The human ship looked old and beaten up. Its hull showed scorch marks and dents. Parts of its armor plating were missing. To Jexstar, it looked like a ship that had barely survived a terrible battle. Scan the vessel, Jexstar ordered. I want to know everything about it. The scan results appeared on his screen. The ship was about 300 meters long. It had basic shields and weapon systems. Life support was working but showed stress. The energy readings were strange, though. Some systems appeared to be running on very old technology, but other readings did not match anything in the Zephyrian database. "Sir, the ship design is unusual," Lieutenant Corvin reported. "Parts of it look like old human designs from 50 years ago, but other parts are completely unknown." Jexstar nodded. Humans had always been good at fixing and changing their ships. Maybe this vessel had been upgraded over the years with salvaged parts from other species. "Open a communication channel," Jexstar ordered. The main screen changed to show the bridge of the human ship. A woman sat in the captain's chair. She had dark skin and short black hair. Her uniform was simple but clean. She looked tired but alert. "I am Commander Jexstar of the Zephyrian Fleet," he said in Galactic Standard. "You are Captain Santos, I assume." The human woman smiled. It was a polite smile, but Jexstar noticed it did not reach her eyes. "That's correct, Commander." "Thank you for responding to our request for assistance. Where have you come from, Captain?" "Our records show no human ships in this sector for many years." Captain Santos paused for a moment. "We've been on a long exploration mission beyond the rim. When we tried to return home, we had to take a dangerous route through the nebula. Our ship was damaged, but we made it through." Jexstar found this story hard to believe. No ship could survive the Maelstrom Nebula, but here was proof that at least one had done it. Maybe humans were tougher than anyone remembered. "Captain Santos, I must inform you that human space has been silent for 50 years. The Galactic Council believes your species may be extinct. For your own safety, I am ordered to escort you to a research facility where you can be properly cared." The human captain's expression did not change, but something shifted in her eyes. "Commander, I appreciate your concern. But we are not refugees or survivors of a disaster. We are explorers returning home with important information. We need passage to the nearest trade hub, not a research facility." Jexstar felt uncomfortable. The human was polite but firm. She spoke like someone used to being in command. This was not how he expected an extinct species to behave. "Captain, you may not understand the situation. Human space went dark 50 years ago. No communication, no trade, nothing. Investigation fleets were sent, none returned. The galaxy believes humans are gone." Captain Santos leaned back in her chair. "Commander, I think there may be some misunderstanding here. Humans are very much alive. We simply chose to step back from galactic affairs for a while. We had projects to work on." "What kind of projects?" Jexstar asked. "The kind that required privacy and time to complete properly." Jexstar did not like the sound of that. In his experience, when a species wanted privacy, it usually meant they were building weapons or planning wars. "Captain Santos, I have my orders. You will accompany us to Research Station Alpha 7. There, proper authorities can determine your status and arrange for your safe return to wherever humans live now." The human captain sighed. It was a sound of disappointment, not fear. "Commander, that would not be a good idea." "Are you refusing to comply with a lawful order?" "I'm suggesting that you might want to reconsider your approach." Jexstar felt his patience running out. The human was being difficult. It was time to show some authority. "Captain Santos, you have 10 seconds to agree to escort, or I will consider your ship hostile and act accordingly." The human captain looked sad. "Computer, drop the disguise." Suddenly, every alarm on the Bright Talon started screaming. Lieutenant Corvin's voice cracked with panic. "Sir, the human ship ... it's changing." Jexstar spun to look at the view screen. The beaten-up human ship was transforming. The damaged hull plating was sliding away to reveal smooth, gleaming metal underneath. Weapon ports opened along the sides. New sensor arrays extended from hidden compartments. The ship grew larger as sections unfolded like a flower blooming dot in 30 seconds. The old damaged ship became something completely different. It was sleek and dangerous looking. The hull was made of some material that seemed to bend light around it. Weapon systems that Jexstar had never seen before tracked his ships with smooth precision. "Sir, new scan results coming in," Lieutenant Corvin reported. His voice was barely a whisper. The ship is showing power readings 3 times higher than our cruiser. Shield strength is ... impossible. Weapon systems are unknown but registering as extremely dangerous. Jexstar stared at the transformed ship. This was not possible. The old, damaged vessel had been a fake. A disguise hiding something much more advanced, but how? Human technology was supposed to be basic and simple. Captain Santos appeared on the communication screen again. She still looked calm and polite. Commander, as I said, that would not be a good idea. What ... is that ship? Jexstar managed to ask. This is the research vessel, Wanderer. We've been testing new technologies during our time away from galactic civilization. Some of those technologies include advanced disguise systems. Jexstar's mind raced. Advanced disguise systems meant humans had been developing military technology. Technology that was clearly superior to anything the Zephyrians possessed. Captain, you're saying humans have been building ships like this for 50 years? Among other things, yes. Lieutenant Corvin looked up from his station. Sir, the other. 2 patrol ships are requesting orders? Their sensors are showing the same readings we are. Jexstar realized he was in a very bad situation. He had 3 patrol ships against 1 human vessel. But that one vessel appeared to be more advanced than anything in the Zephyrian fleet. His orders were to capture the human ship for study. But now it looked like the humans might be studying them instead. Captain Santos, what are your intentions? Jexstar asked. The same as when we started this conversation. We want passage to the nearest trade hub. We have messages to deliver to the Galactic Council. What kind of messages? The kind that will change how the galaxy thinks about humanity. Jexstar felt sweat running down his scaled back. This had started as a simple patrol mission. Escort 1 damaged ship to a research station. Now he was facing technology that could probably destroy his entire patrol without effort. Sir, Lieutenant Corvin whispered, what are our orders? Jexstar looked at the human ship on his screen. It sat in space like a predator waiting to strike. The humans had been quiet for 50 years. Now they were back with ships that made Zephyrian. Cruisers look like toys. Captain Santos, Jexstar said slowly, what would happen if I tried to carry out my original orders? The human captain smiled again. This time it was not polite. It was the smile of someone who held all the cards in a game. Commander, I really hope we don't have to find out. Jexstar made his decision. All ships, stand down. Do not target the human vessel. He looked directly at Captain Santos. Captain, you are free to proceed to your destination, but I must report this encounter to my superiors. Of course, Commander, I would expect nothing less. Captain Santos paused. And Commander? You might want to suggest they send more ships next time. Just 1 patrol won't be enough. The communication ended. The human ship began moving away from the Zephyrian patrol. It moved with smooth grace that spoke of engines far more advanced than anything Jexstar had ever seen. Sir, should we follow them? Lieutenant Corvin asked. At a safe distance, Jexstar replied. And contact Fleet Command immediately. Tell them we need to speak with Admiral Dexver of the Hegemony. This is bigger than just Zephyrian business. Now, as the human ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Jexstar realized the galaxy was about to change. Humans were back, and they were no longer the weak species everyone remembered. Admiral Dexver of the Hegemony received the urgent message while reviewing trade reports in his office. The massive Krokan admiral stood 3 meters tall and had armor-like skin that could stop small weapons fire. His species had ruled the Hegemony for 800 years through strength and superior technology. The message from Commander Jexstar made no sense. Humans with advanced ships, impossible. Humans were extinct. Even if some had survived, they were a minor species with basic technology. Dexver had seen the old reports. Humans built simple ships and used outdated weapons, but Jexstar was a good officer. He would not send a false alarm. If he said the human ship had superior technology, then something strange was happening. Dexver activated his communication system. Fleet operations, this is Admiral Dexver. I need the Dreadnought Iron Fist and 2 battlecruisers dispatched to Sector 7 immediately. Sir, what is the nature of the threat? Asked the operations officer. Unknown vessel with advanced technology, possibly hostile. Vexver did not mention humans. If word got out that humans were back, it would cause panic across the galaxy. Every species would want to know where they had been and what they had learned. The stock markets would crash. Trade routes would be abandoned. Wars might start. Better. To handle this quietly, the Iron Fist was the pride of the Hegemony fleet. It was 2 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy planets. Its shields could absorb the combined attack of 50 smaller ships. Nothing in known space could stand against it. 3 hours later, the Iron Fist and its escorts dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the human ship. The Wanderer sat motionless in space, waiting. It had not tried to run or hide. Admiral Vexver studied the human vessel from his command chair. It looked sleek and dangerous, but it was still just one ship. The Iron Fist alone outweighed it by 10 to 1. Sir, the human ship is broadcasting a message, reported his communication officer. Put it through. Captain Santos appeared on the main screen. She looked exactly as Commander Jextar had described, calm, polite, and completely unafraid. Admiral Vexver, I presume, she said. I was hoping we could avoid this level of response. Captain Santos, I am Admiral Vexver of the Hegemony Defense Force. You are in violation of galactic security protocols. Your ship will surrender immediately for inspection and quarantine. Captain Santos shook her head. Admiral, we are simply travelers trying to reach a trade hub. We have done nothing wrong. Your species has been missing for 50 years. Your technology appears to be far beyond what humans should possess. These facts alone make you a security threat. Admiral, we have been exploring and developing new technologies. This is not a crime under galactic law. Vexver leaned forward in his chair. Captain, you will surrender your vessel. This is not a request. My ship alone has enough firepower to vaporize your vessel in seconds. Captain Santos looked sad. Admiral, I was really hoping to avoid this. We just want to deliver our message to the Galactic Council and open peaceful relations. What message? That humanity is ready to rejoin galactic civilization. But as equals. Not as subjects, Vexver laughed. It was a deep, rumbling sound. Captain, you have 1 ship. I have a dreadnought and 2 battle cruisers. You are hardly in a position to negotiate as equals. Admiral, appearances can be deceiving. Captain Santos, you have 30 seconds to begin surrender procedures. If, you refuse, I will consider your ship hostile and destroy it. Captain Santos sighed. Computer, full reveal. Defensive posture only. The space around the Wanderer suddenly filled with light. Vexver watched in shock as 6 more ships materialized out of nothing. They had been completely invisible, hiding. In perfect stealth just kilometers away from his fleet, the new ships were identical to the Wanderer. Sleek, advanced, and clearly built for war. Vexver's sensors screamed as they tried to analyze the new contacts. The power readings were enormous. Each ship showed weapon systems that his computers could not identify. Sir, his tactical officer reported in a shaky voice. 7 ships total, all showing advanced stealth capabilities. Weapon systems are unknown, but appear to be extremely powerful. Combined firepower estimates are higher than our own. Vexver stared at the screen. 7 human ships had been hiding in his patrol area. They had waited while he made threats and demands. They could have attacked at any time but chose to reveal themselves peacefully. How? Vexver asked. Advanced stealth technology, Captain Santos replied. We've had 50 years to perfect it. Impossible. No species has stealth that can hide. From hegemony sensors? No known species, Captain Santos corrected. Admiral, we really don't want to fight. We came here to talk, not to start a war. Vexver looked at his tactical display. 7 human ships versus 3 hegemony vessels. The numbers were bad, but his ships were larger and more heavily armed. The Iron Fist alone should be able to handle several enemy ships. All ships, battle stations, Vexver ordered. Target. The human vessels prepare to fire. Admiral, please reconsider, Captain Santos said. We don't want to hurt anyone. You are outnumbered and outgunned, Captain. Surrender now or face the consequences. Captain Santos looked directly at him through the screen. Admiral, you are not outnumbered. And you are definitely not outgunned. All ships, fire at will, Vexver commanded. The hegemony ships opened fire with their main weapons. Beams of pure energy and waves of plasma shot toward the human vessels. The attack was enough to destroy a small moon. The human ships did not move. They did not return fire. They simply absorbed the attack. When the weapons fire stopped, all 7 human ships sat in space completely undamaged. Their shields had not even flickered. Sir, no effect, the tactical officer reported. Their shields absorbed our entire attack without strain. Vexver felt cold fear creeping up his spine. The Iron Fist carried the most powerful weapons in the hegemony fleet. Nothing should be able to absorb that much firepower without damage. Fire. Again, he ordered. All ships, maximum power. The second attack was even more intense than the first. Every weapon on all 3 ships fired at once. The space between the fleets lit up like a small star. Again, the human ships absorbed the attack without damage. Admiral, Captain Santos said, we really don't want to fight. But if you insist on continuing this, we will have to defend ourselves. Impossible, Vexver muttered. Nothing can withstand that much firepower. Admiral, our shields are designed to handle much larger attacks than this. We've been preparing for 50 years, remember? One of the human ships moved slightly. A small weapon port opened on its side. A thin beam of blue light shot out and touched the Iron Fist. Every system on the dreadnought shut down at once. Lights went out, engines stopped, weapons powered down. Life support continued to work, but everything else was dead. Sir, we've lost all primary systems, the tactical officer reported. Engines, weapons, communications, everything. Only life support and basic systems are still working. The same blue beam touched the 2 battle cruisers. They also went dark, floating helplessly in space. What did you do to my ships? Vexver demanded. We temporarily disabled your offensive systems, Captain Santos replied. Your crew is safe. Life support is working normally. But your weapons and engines will not function for about 6 hours. Vexver realized he was completely helpless. 3 of the most powerful ships in the galaxy had been disabled by a single shot from 1 human vessel. His crew was alive, but his fleet was useless. How? He asked quietly. Directed electromagnetic pulse technology. We can shut down specific systems without harming the crew. It's much more humane than simply destroying ships. Admiral, the communication officer called out, we're receiving emergency signals from across the sector. Multiple fleets are heading this way. Word has gotten out about human ships. Captain Santos nodded. Admiral, we really need to end this peacefully. More ships will just mean more disabled fleets floating in space. We don't want to hurt anyone, but we will defend ourselves. Vexver looked around his darkened bridge. His mighty dreadnought had been defeated without a single casualty. The humans had technology that made his ships look like toys. And more. Fleets were coming, walking into the same trap. Captain Santos, he said slowly, what do you want? Safe passage to the nearest communication hub. We need to send a message to the Galactic Council. What kind of message? The kind that will prevent a war, Admiral. Humanity is back. We're not the same species you remember. We've grown stronger, smarter, and more advanced. But we still want peace. Captain Santos leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, you can help prevent a lot of bloodshed. Call off the other fleets. Let us deliver our message. Then everyone can sit down and talk like civilized beings. Vexver realized he had no choice. The humans could have destroyed his fleet easily. Instead, they had disabled it without harming anyone. They were offering peace when they could have demanded surrender. Captain Santos, he said, you have safe passage. I will contact the other fleets and tell them to stand down. Thank you. Admiral, your ships will be back to normal in a few hours. We appreciate your cooperation. As the human ships moved away toward the communication hub, Vexver sat in his disabled dreadnought and wondered what humanity had become during their 50 years of silence. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was called within 12 hours of Admiral Vexver's report. Representatives from 47 species gathered in the Great Council chamber on Nexus Prime. The air buzzed with worried conversations. In dozens of languages, Counselor Prime Veltar of the Altarian Federation called for order. Her species had founded the Galactic Council 3,000 years ago. She had seen wars, plagues, and the rise and fall of entire civilizations, but she had never seen the Council this frightened. Fellow counselors, Veltar began, we face an unprecedented situation. The human species, thought extinct for 50 years, has returned with technology far beyond our current understanding. Murmurs filled the chamber. Many of the younger counselors had never heard of humans. To them, humans were just another extinct species from the Outer Rim. Counselor Prime, interrupted War Master Groktar of the Bruthan Empire, why should we fear one species with a few ships? The combined might of the galaxy can handle any threat. Before Veltar could answer, the chamber's communication system activated. A holographic image appeared above the council floor. It showed Captain Maria Santos standing on the bridge of her ship. Honorable members of the Galactic Council, Captain Santos said. I am Captain Maria Santos of the Human Exploration Fleet. I come with an important message from the government of the United Human Colonies. The chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives shouted questions in their native languages. Some demanded to know how a human ship had accessed their secure communication system. Others wanted to know where humanity had been for 50 years. Counselor Prime Veltar called for silence. Captain Santos, you are addressing the Sovereign Galactic Council without permission. Explain yourself. Captain Santos remained calm. Counselor Prime, I tried to request a formal audience through normal channels. However, your security forces attempted to capture my ship and crew. We decided a direct approach would be more effective. How did you access our communication network? Demanded Tech Counselor Zixan of the Synthetic Collective. Our systems are protected by quantum encryption. We have had 50 years to study galactic technology, Captain Santos replied. Breaking your encryption was not difficult. The statement sent a chill through the chamber. The Galactic Communication Network was supposed to be impossible to hack. If humans could break it easily, what else could they do? Captain Santos, Veltar said, where has humanity been for the past 50 years? Why did your space go silent? We were preparing, Captain Santos answered simply. Preparing for what? For our return to galactic civilization? 50 years ago, humanity realized we were far behind the other species in technology and military power. We were treated as a minor species, ignored in council meetings, and excluded from important decisions. Captain Santos paused and looked around the chamber. So we decided to change that situation. War Master Groktar laughed loudly. Captain, you speak of 50 years as if it were a long time. My species has been spacefaring for 10,000 years. What could you possibly accomplish in 50 years? Would you like me to show you? Before anyone could answer, the chamber's view screens activated. They showed images of space around Nexus Prime. Dozens of human ships materialized out of stealth, surrounding the entire planet. They were sleek and deadly-looking, clearly built for war. Panic filled the chamber. Security alarms began ringing. The counselors looked at the screens in terror. Nexus Prime was supposed to be the most heavily defended planet in the galaxy. How had so many ships gotten past the defense networks? Those are just the ships you can see now, Captain Santos said calmly. There are many more you cannot detect. This is an act of war, shouted War Master Groktar. You dare threaten the Council with military force? War Master, we are not threatening anyone. We are demonstrating our capabilities. Every ship around your planet is in defensive mode only. We have not targeted your cities or your defense stations. Counselor Prime Veltar tried to maintain her composure. Captain Santos, what do you want? What humanity has always wanted? Respect, equality, a voice in galactic affairs? You have our attention, Veltar said dryly. Please continue with your message, Captain Santos nodded. 50 years ago, humanity controlled 15 star systems and had a population of 12 billion. Today, we control over 200 star systems and have a population of 60 billion. The numbers hit the chamber like a physical blow. 200 star systems meant humanity now controlled more territory than most galactic powers. 60 billion. People made them one of the largest populations in known space. Impossible, whispered Counselor Fermax of the Zellan Republic. There are not 200 habitable worlds in that region of space. You are correct, Captain Santos agreed. There were not 200 habitable worlds, so we made them habitable. Terraforming takes centuries, protested Tech Counselor Zixen. With your technology, yes, we develop new methods. We can transform a dead world into a garden planet in less than 5 years. The implications staggered the Council. Advanced. Terraforming technology could reshape the galaxy. Desert worlds could become farm worlds. Ice planets could become tropical paradises. The economic value was beyond calculation. Captain, Veltar said carefully, you mentioned 60 billion humans. Where did they come from? Natural population growth, primarily. We also rescued human populations from failed colonies and brought them into our territory. Plus, we had help. Help from whom? Species that wanted to join us. Refugees from wars. Planets that were abandoned by their governments. We offered them new homes and new lives. Trade Counselor Pikshal of the Merchant Guild leaned forward. Are you saying humans are not the only species in your territory? Humans make up about 70% of our population. The other 30% are various species that chose to join us. We do not discriminate based on biology. This revelation shocked the Council even more. Multi-species governments were rare in the galaxy. Most species preferred to stay with their own kind. The fact that humans had built a successful multi-species society spoke well of their leadership abilities. Captain Santos, Veltar said, what technologies have you developed during your absence? Advanced propulsion systems that are faster and more efficient than current galactic standard. Energy shields that can absorb massive amounts of damage. Stealth technology that makes our ships invisible to most sensors. Terraforming systems that can transform worlds in years instead of centuries. Medical technology that has extended human lifespan to over 200 years. Agricultural systems that can feed billions of people using minimal resources. Each technology Captain Santos mentioned would be worth trillions of credits on the galactic market. Together, they represented a technological revolution that could change everything in weapons? Asked War Master Groktar grimly. We prefer non-lethal solutions, Captain Santos replied. As Admiral Vexver can confirm, we can disable enemy ships without harming their crews. However, we are not defenseless. Our weapons are more than adequate to protect our people and our territory. Veltar realized the situation was far worse than anyone had imagined. Humanity had not just survived their 50 years of isolation. They had thrived. They had built an empire that rivaled the greatest powers in the galaxy, and they had technology that made everyone else look primitive. Captain Santos, what are your intentions toward the galactic community? We want to rejoin galactic civilization. We want to trade with other species. We want to share knowledge and resources. We want to help solve problems that affect everyone. And if the galaxy refuses to accept humanity as an equal partner? Captain Santos' expression hardened slightly. Then we will continue to develop our own civilization independently. We do not need the galaxy's permission to exist. The threat was subtle but clear. Humanity was offering partnership from a position of strength. If the galaxy rejected them, they would simply continue building their own empire. In a few more decades, they might be strong enough to challenge everyone else combined. Captain, Veltar said, the Galactic Council will need time to discuss this situation. Will you agree to a temporary ceasefire while we deliberate? Of course. Our ships will remain in defensive positions only. We have no desire to start a war. How long do you need for our answer? Take all the time you need, Counselor Prime. We have waited 50 years. We can wait a little longer. The holographic image of Captain Santos faded away. The council chamber fell silent as the representatives stared at the screens, showing human ships surrounding their planet. Counselor Prime Veltar realized that the galaxy had just changed forever. Humanity was back, and they were no longer asking for permission to be heard. They were demanding their place at the table. And they had the power to enforce that demand. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human strength had begun. The Galactic Council debated for 3 days. During that time, human ships remained in orbit around Nexus Prime, visible reminders of the new reality. News of humanity's return spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Stock markets crashed as investors panicked about new competition. Military leaders demanded immediate action. Politicians called for calm while secretly planning for war, but the smart ones recognized the truth. Humanity was too strong to fight and too valuable to ignore. On the third day, Counselor Prime Veltar called the final session to order. The great chamber was packed with representatives, military officers, and observers. The entire galaxy was watching. Fellow counselors, Veltar began, we have heard from our military experts, our economists, and our scientists. The conclusion is unanimous. Humanity represents both a great opportunity and a great risk. She paused and looked around the chamber. The risk is that if we reject their offer of partnership, we may face a species with the power to challenge our entire civilization. The opportunity is that if we accept them as equals, we all benefit from their advanced technology. War Master Groktar stood up from his seat. Counselor Prime, I object to negotiating under threat. Those ships around our planet are an act of aggression. Before Veltar could respond, Captain Santos' image appeared again above the council floor. War Master Groktar, would you prefer we remove our ships and leave you wondering where they are? I would prefer you show proper respect for galactic authority, Groktar growled. With respect, War Master, what authority? 50 years ago, the galaxy ignored humanity. You sent no help when we requested assistance with pirate attacks. You excluded U.S. from trade agreements. You treated us like children who should be grateful for any attention. Captain Santos' voice remained calm, but there was steel in her words. We asked for respect and were given condescension. We asked for partnership and were offered supervision. So we decided to earn our place at the table. Tech Counselor Zixant spoke up. Captain Santos, your technology could benefit all species. Will you share it freely? We will share what we can through fair trade agreements. Some technologies, especially military ones, will remain restricted, just as every other species restricts their most sensitive technologies. That seems reasonable, Trade Counselor Pexel said quickly. The Merchant Guild had been calculating the profits from human technology for 3 days. What are your trade proposals? Captain Santos smiled. We can offer advanced medical treatments that extend lifespans and cure diseases thought incurable. Agricultural technology that can feed billions with minimal resources. Terraforming systems that can create new worlds for colonization. Clean energy systems that produce no pollution. Transportation technology that cuts travel time by 60%. Each offer sent excited murmurs through the chamber. These technologies could solve problems that had plagued the galaxy for centuries. They could end hunger, reduce poverty, and open up new frontiers for expansion. In exchange, Captain Santos continued, we want full membership in the Galactic Council. We want equal representation in all trade negotiations. We want our territorial claims recognized. And we want an end to any attempts to treat humanity as a lesser species. Counselor Prime Veltar realized this was the moment of decision. Accept humanity as equals or risk a war that could destroy galactic civilization. Captain Santos, if the Council agrees to your terms, how do we know humanity will honor its agreements? The same way you trust any other species, Counselor Prime, through mutual benefit and shared interest. We gain more from cooperation than from conflict. Veltar called for a vote. All in favor of accepting humanity as a full member of the Galactic Council? 39 species voted yes. 5 voted no. 3 abstained. The motion passes, Valtar announced. Humanity is hereby granted full membership in the Galactic Council, with all rights and responsibilities thereof. Captain Santos bowed slightly. Thank you, Counselor Prime. Humanity accepts this membership with honor. Captain, when can we expect formal diplomatic contact? Our ambassadorship will arrive within the week. Ambassador Chun Wei will present our formal credentials and begin negotiations for specific agreements. Over the following months, the galaxy began to change. Human medical technology saved millions of lives across dozens of worlds. Their agricultural systems ended famine on 12 planets. New trade routes opened up as human transportation made distant markets profitable, but the biggest change was in attitude. Species that had dismissed humanity 50 years ago now competed for human attention. Military leaders studied human tactics and tried to understand their technology. Scientists begged for research partnerships. Admiral Vexver found himself assigned to a joint human hegemony patrol. He worked alongside Captain Lisa Park, who commanded a human destroyer. At first, the partnership was awkward. Vexver still remembered the humiliation of having his dreadnought disabled, but Captain Park proved to be professional and skilled. Her ship saved his cruiser from pirates using weapons that cut through enemy shields like paper. Her crew shared their advanced medical supplies when his ship suffered casualties from an asteroid collision. Captain Park, Vexver said one day as they patrolled the border regions, I must ask, how many ships does humanity really have? Captain Park smiled. Admiral, does it matter? We have enough to protect our people and help our friends. The galaxy is still nervous about human military power. The galaxy was nervous about us when we were weak too. At least now we can defend ourselves. Vexver realized she was right. 50 years ago, other species had ignored humanity because they were too weak to matter. Now they feared humanity because they were too strong to ignore. Either way, humanity had been an outsider. Captain, what changed during those 50 years? How did humans become so advanced so quickly? Captain Park was quiet for a moment. Admiral, when you're fighting for survival, you learn fast. When the galaxy abandoned us, we had 2 choices. Give up and die or become strong enough that no one could abandon us again. And you chose to become strong. We chose to become strong together. Every human world, every human ship, every human life became precious because we only had each other. That unity made us powerful. 6 months after humanity's return, the first joint scientific expedition was launched. Human, Altarian, and Zellan scientists worked together to explore a newly discovered star system. The mission was a huge success, discovering 3 habitable worlds and vast mineral resources. The expedition also proved that humans could work as equals with other species. There were no conflicts over leadership, no arguments about territory. The humans shared their discoveries freely and accepted other species' contributions with respect. A year after their return, humanity hosted the first galactic science conference in their space. Scientists from 42 species gathered on New Geneva, one of humanity's terraformed worlds. The planet was a showcase of human technology. Desert areas had been transformed into forests. Ocean depths had been turned into underwater cities. The sky was filled with floating gardens that produced food and oxygen. Counselor Prime Valtar attended the conference personally. As she walked through the human capital city, she was amazed by what she saw. Humans, Altarians, Zellans, synthetics, and dozens of other species worked together in shops, laboratories, and government offices. Children of different species played together in parks. Mixed species families shared meals in restaurants. Captain Santos, Veltar said during a private meeting, you have built something remarkable here. Captain Santos, now promoted to Admiral Santos, smiled. We built what we always wanted. Counselor Prime, a place where species work together instead of competing against each other. Is this the future humanity envisions for the galaxy? It's the future we hope for, but we know it will take time. Fear and prejudice don't disappear overnight. What about species that refuse to accept human equality? Admiral Santos' expression became serious. We will defend ourselves if attacked. But we prefer to prove our worth through actions rather than threats. 2 years after humanity's return, the galaxy had settled into a new normal. Human technology had improved life for billions of beings. Human colonies provided new markets for trade. Human scientists made breakthrough discoveries that advanced knowledge for everyone, but most importantly, humanity had proven that a species could choose cooperation over domination. They could have used their superior technology to conquer the galaxy. Instead, they used it to build bridges. The old fears began to fade as species realized that humans were not conquerors but partners. The galaxy was bigger and more prosperous with humanity as equals rather than subjects. In his final report as commander of the Joint Patrol, Admiral Vexver wrote, "Humanity's return has made the galaxy stronger. Their technology has saved lives. Their example has shown us that former enemies can become trusted allies. The hegemony is proud to call humanity our partners." Admiral Santos read the report with satisfaction. 50 years ago, her species had been ignored and dismissed. Today, they were respected and valued. The journey had been long and difficult, but humanity had finally found its place among the stars, the single ship that had emerged from the maelstrom. Nebula had carried more than just one captain and her crew. It had carried the hopes and